ago was that this owner, then he comes down there and he's like, hey man, you don't know who you're messing with. And I'm thinking, what, dude? I'm like, I'm trying to be protective from the dog who I didn't know was on, and he starts getting all angry about it was on a leash and all this, and I'm like, but the whole thing about saying not knowing who you were messing with, I was like to myself, I'm going, well, that's pretty aggressive, just for trying to be protective of something that had happened, a couple months back. And, and once I knew the dog was on, I wasn't concerned. I saw it come flying at me, and I was like, uh-oh, I need to just be protective. I wasn't trying to be fearful. I was just being protective of what had happened before, and I was just trying to get the owner, whoever the owner was at. But this owner comes out of left field just going crazy on me, and I'm going, oh boy, well, we know why your dog's aggressive, or at least that's my theory. Am I right or wrong about that?
Oh, absolutely. And remember when I was saying how domestic animals are a little more difficult to communicate with than wild animals are, because they have that corruption of a human influence in them. So where this guy, and I'm not saying that he mistreats his dog or whatever, but many times if you have an aggressive human like that, chances are they work the dog until he can be an aggressive dog, just like the guy in my story, wanted that killer dog. So, and if that dog, he's working for his owner, will kind of like go off of his energy. Like, so
he picks up on that aggression.
It's aggressive.
Yeah.
The dog will be aggressive. Okay. So now rewinding back to the other dog where there were little ones and then there was that one big one that bit you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So now the image I was seeing is if there was a bad experience with a person that resembles you, and that could be a physical resemblance, your hair color, your stature, any of that, or even your smell, and it triggers them. Like, say the dog had, trauma, and then every time somebody that looks like that or smells like that comes around them, they react. And that's what I saw in this particular case, because there was no instigation.
Right. I thought possibly also what happened in Missouri also might have been also because there was a lot of kids in the yard. Maybe there was something that had happened before I got there. Or like going back to what you're saying, who knows, maybe it was a delivery driver that had an incident with the dog at some point, that I have no idea about, nor did the owner have any idea about. But they're pretty strict up there, and I found that out real quick about dog bites and stuff. That's a much longer story for another time. It just really bothered me more because I never really had any. I've been doing this. I did a part-time start with it, and then I do it full-time outside of the podcast. And I've been doing this since like 2019, and this was the first time I'd ever had incidents. And I'm like, wow, this is just weird that it's just suddenly happened all of a sudden. But you brought up a very good point that maybe there was something that that I wasn't aware of from the past. Something that had happened with the dog just previous, or sometime down the road before I got there. So that makes a lot of sense now.
Yeah, and so for you, how you can heal this so it doesn't affect you going forward is to do, something like that little rewind thing. Okay. Or, because you don't want it to set into your subconscious mind and to where anytime you see a dog that looks like that dog now, you're going to have a reaction that's going to create
a negative reaction.
Your heart rate might increase, and the dog smells the fear on you and then attacks you. So then it's like a catch-22. But if you cancel it out and go, okay, I'm going to rewind back to right before the attack, and then I'm going to watch. You're not living through it again, you're not feeling it again, you're just watching it like you're watching a movie, and then you just watch this representative of you getting attacked by the dog, and okay, interesting, I see. So you don't want to be like, oh my God, or you just go, oh, that's interesting.
Right. Well, I like it.
Kind of neutral.
That's a good approach. I like that.
And then so as you watch it and you go, okay, I see what happened here, and then you could take an eraser and erase the part. You could, like how magnetic tape, like if you swipe a magnet over it, it'll erase that piece. So you want to erase that incident and then play it again with no incident happening. Like, okay, I delivered to them and everything was fine, and went on to my next job.
Cool.
So you've cut out the hospital visit, you've cut out the bite, all that.
Yeah. Police showing up. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
Wow, things you learn real quick. It was like, well, we got to, okay, well, that's interesting. There's, like I said, there was a lot to the story, but we won't talk about every little detail. Danielle knows the story, but yeah, I'm just more concerned because I'm not angry towards the dog, basically. I'm just trying to figure out how this all happened, and you brought some very good points up because with this one a couple days ago, my first thought was when the owner was challenging me, I was like, good night, dude. I'm like, this is going to escalate out of control for no reason, and you're making this worse than just the dog barking and chasing at me. I'm like, well, you got stopped by the... I'm like, and I don't know. It was just a weird situation, and I was like... I have a lot of police friends, and I mentioned something about his whole action later, and they're like, yeah, that's just not a good idea. I said, yeah, it is and isn't. But it was interesting to have you on to ask that question in a different perspective and kind of get some insight. So, yeah, I appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome.
Ironic that we would have you on and that came up. So, yeah.
Yeah, perfect timing, huh?
Yeah, exactly. I got a couple other questions real quick before we get off. If Danielle wants to do anything else, go ahead and ask Danielle, and then I'm going to ask her a couple questions about something else that she does.
Oh, I'm fine.
Oh, okay. What is on your hydrotherapy? What is your hydrotherapy? I know there's different types of hydrotherapy. What do you actually do on your hydrotherapy?
So with hydrotherapy, it's like you could be using like moist heat packs. I don't have a jacuzzi hot tub or anything like that for the hydrotherapy, but it can be, moist heat. Is really good for muscles to relax muscles. Anytime there's swelling, of course, use ice. Also. Too, I'll give people homework assignments, if they have access to a pool or a jacuzzi.
Okay.
Or even if they have like a bathtub at home, they can soak in Epsom salts. That's really good, magnesium and the salts to alleviate inflammation and pain.
Right. Okay. Yeah, one of the things that I had done in the past also, along with the chiropractic and massage, is sometimes I would go and find a place to rent, and I'd use hot tubs, and I could move a lot better. Most of the time I can move pretty good and everything. It's just every once in a while, some of the past stuff that has happened, which you didn't know all of this on the show. There's people that know my background. But there's been a lot of injuries and stuff. Part of it's from security duty in bars. Part of it's from wrecks. Part of it's just general fights and stuff I had to deal with in my life. But I would go, most of the time I can move okay, but then there's times Danielle's been on the phone with me, we'll be talking, and I'm like, I'm just like, ooh, I'm back in that pain thing, even though I've used these things, and like I said, massage sometimes does it really well for me. Sometimes the chiropractic gets things readjusted, and then for some strange reason. But I found something fascinating in your talk today with me and Danielle, is that whole trying to get that out of your past head. And I think that's maybe one of the bigger problems, because so much of that stuff is in my head. So much of that stuff has happened over my life. So I'm going to try to work that. Now that you told me that, I find it fascinating. Hey, if it works, I'm going to at least attempt it. So, yeah, I'm pretty open minded about most stuff. So, yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
and I want to leave you with one final thing too, and this is something that your listeners can use. You can use, but so back to the water, hydrotherapy and water. There is a technique that I learned when I was studying the Silva method, and it's called the glass of water technique. So you would just take a glass of water. You don't want it in plastic or styrofoam or metal. You want it in real glass, and you just hold your glass of water with not like your palms per se, but your fingertips, because you want to imagine energy coming out of your fingertips going into your water, and you want to close your eyes and you want to say, this is all that I need to do to restore my health have perfect health, to be pain-free, whatever it is that you want that water to heal for you. Okay, so like say if I lost something, if I couldn't find my keys, I would do my water. I would have my glass of water, my fingertips touching the glass, and my eyes are closed. As your eyes are closed, you want to like roll your eyeballs up like they're trying to look at your eyebrows, but your eyes are still closed. So if somebody were to look at you, they'd see the whites of your eyes, because that triggers the alpha brain waves. And as you're doing that, you just say, this is all I need to do to find my keys. And then I would drink the water. And that, because we are made up of predominantly water, the water that we just programmed will go to all the cells of our body and find those keys. I mean, I can't tell you how many times it's worked. Or like, say I have a headache and I don't want a headache. This is all I need to do to be free from any discomfort in my head.
That is awesome.
And then I drink it and voila, I'm better.
All right, cool. I'm going to link all your stuff that I have that Danielle's given me and everything, but would you like to go ahead and put it out there for anybody that wants to contact you as far as, I mean, I will put in the show notes the link anyway, but if you want to tell them what it is, that would be awesome.
So I think you have my TLC spa.massagetherapy.com.
I believe so. I believe Danielle sent me that, yes.
Yeah,
Okay. So is that your main thing? Let's see what.
That's my main website that has pretty much everything that I do on it. You know, it has all the, it's kind of like a menu of all the different modalities I do, prices I charge. And just to know that a lot of these things can be done over the phone as well or through Zoom. And I have, like, for example, if somebody wants a pet reading, I can do a pet reading in person, or I can do it over the phone. I can do it on Zoom. Same thing goes for hypnotherapy, because I hypnotize, people for a variety of different things.
Oh, I didn't even know that part. I didn't even see that. Oh, cool.
Yeah. And I can do that, over the phone as well.
Nice.
Or on Zoom. Yeah, so that's pretty good. And then also to your email, to the email you gave me? Yeah, the email is socalpetpsychic at yahoo.com. SOCAL pet PETPSYCHIC at yahoo.com.
Nice. Okay, cool. Well, it has been an honor to have you with us today and everything. I appreciate you coming on the show. Sorry we had a little technical problem there, but I'll try to get that all worked out before we get the show up in the next day or so and everything, and take care of that. But it happens from time to time. A funny story real quick. For me, we had a guest on, our last guest on, and he was on year one. He's a good friend of mine, and I remember I had him across the table, and we had to split it up into three pieces because it kept messing up, and that was my early time with the equipment where I didn't just know how to just quickly try to fix it. And I think you give me some extra positive energy today. but it's great. Like I said, it was great to have you here, and thank you so much for coming on the show. And I'm going to let you go now, and then me and Danielle are going to close out the rest of the show.
Okay, you have a wonderful day.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. Oh, you're welcome. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
You too. Bye.
Okay, so that was Yvonne Kirkpatrick, and as you said, she is a very fascinating guest, and it was great to have her on today. Danielle got us this guest, and I appreciate that. Thank you, Danielle. And like I say, we've got the new sponsor. I will link that, and with the t-shirtgrove.com, we'll link that. If you want to support the show, be sure to contact us through the 13th Destiny Podcast at gmail.com. Patreon will be available as soon as we can get that all together and figure out what all we want to give you to offer. But in the meantime, go to the t-shirtgrove.com and support us that way. That's the new one of the new sponsors there. Well, it's actually our first sponsor, and we're looking for more if you want more. I think we've made some progress this year with the co-host and also with the shows. The reason I'm going to say that we made some positive, forward stuff now. Not only with the guests, we've had more guests this year than we've had on any previous season now. That's awesome. We have a co-host, and one of the most important things is I know that people are listening and we're starting to gain the audience. One of the reasons being is that there was a technical problem with one of our previous shows I didn't know about. I did not catch it. It was up. Someone told me about it just recently. In fact, actually 3 different people told me about it. And that means that you are listening and we are gaining ground. And I appreciate that. Daniel appreciates that. And so please like, subscribe, tell your friends, and we are moving forward, and we're going to get more guests on, and we're going to keep moving forward. And hopefully the 13th Destiny with Magnum podcast, and Danielle as my co-host, is going to be even more awesome as we keep going throughout the rest of the second half of this year. Thank you again for being here at the 13th Destiny podcast. God bless all of you, and have a great day.